Okay, I know. It was 9.5 weeks, the Mickey Rourke film. Kim Basinger with those lips, I remember. But it wasn't 8.5. I made a mistake. By the way, I want to ask you a question. Who are you? I don't get enough mail from you. I would like to know who's watching. I'd like to have a card, just a card. Don't give me letters, because it's too much. Just a card. Send it to KNBC Burbank. My name on the front. It'll get to me. And typed if you can. Printed if you can't. Just want to know who you are, sort of your age, what you do, how often you watch, and what you've learned from this. Because I want to do as much as I can for you. Who's up?
Okay, we have Elisa. She's on line 11, and she wants to act out her own fantasies.
Lisa.
Hello.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi. The reason I called tonight is, I'm real nervous. So if my voice sounds real shaky, that's why.
Okay.
I've been sexually active for several years now, and it's...
You're how old?
I'm 20 years old. And I didn't really start having sex until I was 17. I'm the typical case study. I was molested when I was 11, and that's what my first sexual experience was. And then there was a long period when I didn't have any, and then I kind of went nuts. But my problem is that I act out my partner's fantasies. I'm this sexual vixen, if he wants me to be. I mean, close male friends used to always tell me that I exuded sexuality, and now I don't. It's like almost kind of like I've grown up, and I'm not my own person anymore. When it comes sexually, I'm not my own person. I mean, my husband's in the other room, and I can tell hundreds of thousands of people this, but I can't tell my own husband. Right now, I'm wanting him to do more for me sexually. I mean, I'm the active partner in our sexual relationship, but when he does what I want him to do, I'm not turned on, I'm not turned off, I'm just nothing. I mean, I'm real apathetic. And it's like I keep...
But when you tell him what you want, are you telling him what part of your fantasies you'd like him to act out?
Well, see, I don't have any fantasies. I mean, I know that sounds really bizarre, but...
No, it doesn't. Why do you think it sounds bizarre?
Because it's just... to me, it's like everybody has these fantasies that they think about, and, that everybody has that one certain thing they want to act out. I acted out a lot of what I thought would be fantasies when I was promiscuous, but, they all turned out to be not as good as everyone said they were.
Hey, the thing is, what works for you?
I don't know right now.
Well, does anything work for you?
Not right now.
When did things stop working for you?
Things stop working for me when he starts to do what I ask him. I know that sounds...
Things stop working when he starts doing what you ask him, right?
Yeah.
It's obvious.
What's obvious?
What's going on?
Can you enlighten me? That's why I called.
Well, as soon as he starts doing what you ask him, you are in control and have responsibility for the sexual act. When you don't have responsibility for the sexual act and you're merely following instructions, like being molested, then you don't feel guilty about your participation because you can always blame the other person. Who molested you?
My step-uncle, but I was one of those troubled kids, and he was a perceived family member.
Okay. How cooperative were you?
Very cooperative.
That's what this is about. Because it's the guilt over your participation that makes it difficult for you to engage in a sexual act and enjoy it when the other person is not forcing you.
Well, see, that's what my problem is. I didn't see him forcing me. I mean,
I didn't say that, but you must feel guilty about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, to this day.
All right, and that guilt makes it difficult for you to enjoy sex unless the other person takes responsibility for initiating and controlling it. When you are a willing partner in the sexual act, and not engage in the fantasy of being someone's sex slave or whatever you do. Did I say something?
Yeah, it's just, that's okay.
See, that was it, wasn't it? When you're the slave and have no choice, you can act guilt-free.
Yeah, but I'm not necessarily a slave. I mean...
Hang on.
Okay.
or whatever you are. I don't care whether you're a cocktail waitress in the fantasy. Why are you so titillated by that?
I'm one of those people, I find humor in most things.
Well, the fact is what works for you works for you. And the thing is that your husband should find out your required list of things that you like and force you to do them, as
Yeah.
if they were his sexual fantasy. How's that for an improv?
That's pretty good.
I think so. That's why I get the big bucks.
Well,
I got you laughing, and it's making me uncomfortable as hell. I wonder why.
I'm sorry, I just,
No, I don't know. I don't know what I'm touching when I touch you.
um,
Listen, the problem is the sexual molestation and the guilt you felt over it.
right.
That remains to this day so that you don't feel comfortable initiating the sexual act or having done what you want unless someone else is commanding you to do it.
Okay, now that we have, clear
So
the
get him,
problem.
so get him to follow your commands, but to turn it around. And if it works, we've just saved you a whole bundle on psychotherapy.
Not quite. I've already spent a whole bundle.
Well, I mean, but this is a neat way to work around it.
True, true. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You know what?
Hmm.
You owe me a card.
Oh, okay. I'll get the address.
Is your husband in the other room watching television?
Yeah, and I also have it recorded in case he's not.
Okay, I want to talk to your husband.
Okay. Okay, hang on a moment.
No, I'm on the television. He doesn't
No,
need to come.
we only...
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you hush. You know what to do now. You know what she asked you to do? Force her. We'll be right back. Interesting. Interesting. Welcome back, David Viscott here. What can you say about a call like that? You know, I know that's a delicate issue, the issue of being molested. But you know, when it becomes, and this is true of any issue in your past, when the past issue in your life involves guilt, there are a lot of ways of working through that guilt. And what I suggested to Alyssa was that maybe you could work around it. Sometimes working around it does all the work. Who's next?
Okay, we have Andy. He's on line 7, and he's gay, but he doesn't want to be.
Andy.
Hello.
How politically incorrect.
How politically incorrect?
Yeah, haven't you heard you're not supposed to want to be straight?
I do. I just don't want the problems it's going to cause for my family. I mean, if they found out.
Well, tell me about this. How long have you been gay?
Well, I've suspected it since I was 13. I've never had a homosexual act. I've never performed one, but I mean, I just know the attractions I have.
Okay.
Um,
You've never had an act, though?
no. No, just very, I mean, I've been with a couple girls, actually, but never been able to perform.
Okay.
And I even nearly got married, even without being able to perform. And I broke it off and told her about a year later, told her the truth.
What truth did you tell her?
Well, I told her what my feelings were and why
Tell me what you told her.
just that I have found myself more attracted to men than women.
Okay.
And I'm not truly, I even told her, I'm not truly comfortable with it. I mean, I'm fearful of what would happen if anyone I know found out.
But you're more concerned about other people finding out than it sounds like any other thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm uncomfortable with it. I don't know whether it's right or wrong or...
Well, the main thing is you have to find out what you are.
Well, finding out what I am, I mean, I know what I'm attracted to. I know what excites me, I guess I could say. I don't know. I mean,
Okay. And when you say it excites you, how does it excite you?
well, I mean, the attractions that I have, I know what I'm attracted to and what I'm not, but I don't know how to deal with that, how to change that around. I don't feel it's right. I mean, how can you...
How can you what? Finish the sentence.
Well, how can you live in today's society and be gay?
What is it you're afraid of?
Hate. I mean, having people who I previously got along with hating me.
And who do you have in mind when you think that?
Oh, well, my friends. I mean, the people who I'm around day in and day out. My family is not that close to me that I'm that worried about even just my family. But, I mean, you're talking about a change in my whole lifestyle. I mean, my job I'd probably lose. My boss is a very Christian man, and he would never accept it.
What do you do?
Well, I don't really want to say because it might help people know who I am. I'm basically in property management. That's the best way of putting it.
Okay. So you're living a secret life.
Well, I'm hiding a side of my life. I'm not even living it.
You're not even right. You're not even sure what you are.
I'm pretty sure what I am.
Are you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I know that I haven't been successful in any relationships with women, either in falling in love or sexually. And again, sexually is not the most important thing. I just have not been capable of loving a woman. And yet I found myself attracted and possibly capable of loving other men. And I don't know how to change that, I just, like I said, don't know how people could accept me.
Well, you've made other people's acceptance more important than your own self-acceptance.
Yeah.
And the truth is, if you accept yourself, it won't make any difference what other people think. The people who will accept you because you're a person who is comfortable, has good self-esteem, is productive, and worthy. If you are projecting what you're projecting now, which is a person who's never acted but just has had the fantasies, you're projecting a lack of self-worth, a sense of guilt, low self-esteem, self-doubt, and fear of being uncovered. That's what you project now.
Yeah.
So that's not the best you. I mean, I don't know what you want to do in life, but I'll bet it has to do with, being successful, making a mark, making a contribution, doing a job well, pursuing some standard of excellence. Is that you?
Yeah.
And what would stand in the way more than an attitude or a feeling about you that other people get of you not thinking that you're very good? You think something's wrong with you. The truth is, when you meet someone who thinks something is wrong with you, the extent to which they feel something is wrong with them and what is actually wrong with them have very little relationship to do with each other. I mean, there are some women who think they're fat and they're as skinny as a rail, and so the reality has very little to do with the feeling. You feel you're bad because you have homosexual fantasies, and you feel attracted to men and not attracted to women.
I just know that everything that I believed in or believe in, religious-wise, tells me that it's bad.
Well, whether you believe that it's bad or not, you've heard one side of the fence. I mean, the way we're brought up, no matter what religion, no matter what social system, is a certain degree of propaganda. And we each discover a new world for ourselves. I'm not making any judgment about your sexual orientation because, frankly, your sexual orientation is not, I would say, conclusively established in anyone's eyes, except you're attracted to men. I think you should be attracted to you.
Hard to do.
I think you need to accept whatever you are.
The fear of the rejection of everyone I love.
But more people are being prohibited right at this moment from getting close to you by your lack of self-acceptance than any other single thing. And the fact that you may be gay is the least important thing about you. You're making the fact that you might be gay more important than anything else you do. Don't
Well,
you?
how do you know if you are or are not gay? I mean, you know the attractions you feel. That's the only thing I have to go by.
A lot of heterosexual men are attracted to men.
Since they were 13?
Yep.
Regularly? I mean,
Yep. Sometimes they, a majority of the time they don't want to have sex with them. But if the thought crosses their mind, it doesn't mean they act on it. As you yourself have never acted on it.
Well, I mean, in whatever fantasizing I have done has never been towards women. And
When you masturbate, you think of men?
yeah,
Well, the men you were attracted to, describe them. Age.
age,
Yeah.
generally younger than me, but I mean, my age and younger, I guess the best way is 17, 18,
Okay. And what you're interested in the sexual relationship is what?
Yeah,
Purely sexual?
no,
What are you interested in besides the sex?
someone I could be close to.
Uh-huh.
Someone who, would care about me and understand me.
Andy, it sounds like you're gay.
Well, I know that, but
Andy, you can't go on hating yourself. I mean, there are some gay men who are gay for neurotic reasons. They didn't have a father, so they sexualize closeness, usually with an older man.
that's
And
a possibility. But I mean,
what was with your dad?
well, my parents were divorced before I really recall. I mean,
Do you have any relationship with your dad?
somewhat. I mean, it's gotten better in the past couple of years, but it's, not really what I call a father-son relationship. We're friends.
To what extent do you think that may be contributing to it? The wish, see,
I just know that, I mean, all my life, as far as I can recall, of any sexual attraction has been towards men. I don't
right, but
know that it started because of my father.
But look at the whole thing. You just said, before I knew any different, my parents were divorced, and all my life I've had attraction to men. So both of those go together, those two statements, don't they?
Yeah.
All right. I'm saying if there is a neurotic, that is a hidden emotion, which in your case would be the wish to have a father, and what you may have done is you may have sexualized the wish to have a father and act towards a younger man the way you wish a father had acted towards you. Kind, accepting, and I think you may have sexualized that in your mind. If you want to look at it and you want to see the route to go to make an analysis in a psychotherapeutic situation to determine whether or not there are these unconscious neurotic needs that are acting on you to make you have these homosexual leanings, that's where I would go.
I've been through therapy, but I've never really brought it up. When I was...
Then how can you claim you went through therapy?
Well, no. When I was a teenager, I was in a psychiatric institution for a while because of problems I had with my mother.
And what were the problems?
We fought constantly. I just started failing at everything. I wasn't interested in anything anymore. Pretty much suicidal.
Low self-esteem.
Yeah. Which I've overcome a lot of that, I feel. I mean...
Okay, this is all I'm saying to you. I would get involved in some kind of a short-term psychotherapeutic relationship to answer some questions. I mean, 16 visits maximum, a couple of months, 4 months. Just dealing with a specific issue. The yearning and anger at your father, the mixed feelings, the sexualizing of the relationships that you have done, and what was it that you were looking for. What is it you are wanting to do to younger men, sexual fantasies, and how much of those are taking care of the younger men in the way that you wish to be taken care of yourself?
Yeah.
Those are the issues. Can you answer any of those questions now?
Can I answer any of those questions now?
Sure.
I guess. I mean, if you re-ask a couple of them.
Well, what is it you want to do to younger men? I mean, I don't mean the sexual act, but what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, as I said, the younger men, it's not necessarily just younger. That's the physical attraction.
Yeah.
That's, purely physical. But I'm sure if I found somebody older who cared. I mean, I'm not limited on that.
Okay. You sounded a little that way. That's
Yeah, I'm. It was a spur of the moment question. I mean, not having done anything, I don't know what ages I've been myself to. You know.
Well, you have a very strong aversion to being gay,
A fear.
of the rejection.
Well, I mean, one, the people you're attracted to may or may not be gay unless you go specifically to the places where gay people are, and then you
And
risk
do you ever
letting people know what you are.
Do you do that?
No.
Do you ever do that?
Have I ever been anywhere where there were gay people?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, you ought to take a look, just to see what it feels like. You ought to look around. You ought to go to the Gay and Lesbian Center. There's always, the risk of being led in the direction of gayness, but I think they guard against that pretty well. But I think you ought to talk to some people. This is a common problem. But the point is, you have to be whatever you are. And there's room in our society for whatever you are, because what we really want from you, Andy, is just your best. Your sexual identification, your sexual role is the least...
That's what we want as far as men.
Well, hey, come on. That's what we want, and that's all you know. You don't know anything else but that, and the truth is, you cannot know anything else than that. And you may just be using all your religious ideas as a way of punishing yourself, rather than helping yourself solve the problem. Take a look. There are resources in this town, excellent ones, and you ought to take a peek at them. Who's next?
Okay, we have Debbie. She's on line 3, and her daughter talks to her deceased father.
Debbie.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
You're how old?
I'm 33.
How old is your daughter?
She's 3 years old.
When did your husband die?
A year ago, Christmas Eve.
She's 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Give me her exact age.
Well, she was born in January the 10th of 89.
So she just turned 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so your husband died a year ago at Christmas?
Christmas Eve.
How?
He committed suicide.
How much of this did she know?
Well, she doesn't know. All she knows is that he's up in heaven. And she knows that he's never coming back again. She did see him in his casket.
When was that?
That was, well, last year when we buried him.
What was her reaction?
She was pretty upset because she wouldn't let nobody get next to him, because she said for everybody to get away from him because he was sleeping. And she just woke up right now. She's talking. And she wouldn't let nobody get next. She was close. For being only 3 years old, they were close together. And we also had we have another daughter. We had 2 children together. And since he passed away, she's very rebellious. She won't listen to me. She does things to irritate me, to get me upset, so I'll scold her.
Well, she is 3, you know.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Okay.
And when she's with the baby, like the baby's asleep, she'll do things to wake up the baby, make noise. She'll go, and then I catch her talking in the corners. And I tell her, what are you doing? She goes, oh, my papi's here. I'm talking to him. I said, what? She says, he's here. He says that he came to see us, and he's never going to leave. I said, and I tell her, no, honey, he's in heaven. And she says, no, he's here. Can't you see him? And that's why I called you. I want to...
All right. One point before I move on. Waking the baby up because the baby's asleep, she may be waking the baby up and pinching the baby because seeing someone asleep makes her afraid. Because she may be remembering her father sleeping, remember, in the casket.
Uh-huh.
So if she can get you to wake up, her anxiety is relieved.
Oh, I see.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
And what you do is you say, the baby is awake, your daddy's dead, though, honey.
Uh-huh.
So she needs to be reminded. And when she's alone and she's seeing her father, what is she saying?
She says that he's here, and that he's here to stay, and he's never going to leave me alone.
Okay, and what do you, and you say he's in heaven?
Yeah, I tell her he's in heaven.
Well, what you need to do is you need to say something else to her. And you need to say it in her terms.
Uh-huh.
And what I would say to her is, you're missing Daddy, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
But there's very important words, because the way the words are structured are designed to reach a 3-year-old's grief.
I.
You miss Daddy, huh? I guess you miss playing with him. You miss seeing him. You miss being with him. Use the word miss as much as you can. And when she starts saying, I miss him, to miss means the person is not there. And that will begin the process. But it may be that she's just getting to the stage where she's developing enough verbal ability to start talking about it. It's her way of handling the 2-year-old trauma.
Uh-huh.
And finally, it's also a way, now that she's talking about it, to work through something that's been in her consciousness for a long time. I think she's anxious about the sister sleeping. Indicates that she has an anxiety about death in general.
There's times that, like I said, she's only 3 years old, but there's times that she's even said, I'm damn mad that he's gone.
And what do you say then?
And I tell her, no, honey, don't be upset. And she says,
No, that's exactly wrong.
Oh.
And I'll say to her, I'll bet you are. That's what
she's standing right here and talking to. I'm trying to listen to you, what you're telling me, and she's telling me to tell you that he's gone away. She's got a very clear voice. You wouldn't think she was 3 years old.
But you're not hearing me. When she says, I'm damn mad, what I want you to say is, I bet you are. It must hurt for Daddy not to be here.
Oh, okay.
She wants him to take me and you and him where?
You want him to take us where? To Christmas Eve. If I put her on this phone, she'll speak to you.
Put her on this phone.
Okay.
What's her name?
Hello?
Hi, honey.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
You know what your mommy was telling me?
Mm-hmm.
She was telling me that you miss your daddy.
I know.
You know, what happened to him?
Oh, he went away from me and Chris and Anita and my mom and Jessie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he did take us at Christmas Eve last night.
He was there last night?
Yeah.
You see him?
No.
You
He's
think...
really up in heaven.
Uh-huh. When you think about him, do you have a picture of him in your mind?
Yeah, my mommy had a picture of him
When you think...
everywhere.
Uh-huh. And what do you think of when you see the picture?
And mommy shows him to me.
Uh-huh. And what do you feel when you see the picture?
I don't know.
Sad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it. When you say you don't know, you really did know, though, didn't you?
No.
Yeah.
And no.
Yeah, so you miss your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's hard, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think about him a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like when you think about him?
I don't know.
That means you're sad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Put Mommy back on, sweetheart.
Hard to believe that's a 3-year-old, huh?
Yeah, hard to believe a few things. Listen to me. Debbie, this child is living in a house of death and doesn't know how to deal with it.
Uh-huh.
The way you talk about your husband is tainted by your own anger at him for killing himself. You haven't resolved the problem with him, and what she is doing, this child, is reflecting your own inability to deal with his passing. You understand that, right?
Uh-huh.
Why did he kill himself? Was he on drugs?
No. He went up to some part of Texas because he wanted to work in the cotton field one more time. I begged him not to.
Yeah,
go.
but why did he do it?
I don't know.
So the answer is you don't know.
There was no letter, no note, nothing. It was his suicidal death was a mystery.
Was he murdered?
No, they said he shot himself in the head. I have with one gunshot hit to the wall.
Okay, don't go into it. All right, now listen to me. So there's a lot of confusion on your part too, right? This kid needs your help.
Yeah.
When she talks about her father, tell her that you know she misses him.
Okay.
When she says, "I'm damn mad," tell him, "I bet you are. It must hurt for your father to be gone." And Debbie, you need to talk to someone about this to come to terms with it yourself.
Yeah.
Because more will happen by you coming to terms with this than almost any single thing.
Yeah, he's been gone a little over a year now, and I miss him, and it's still hard for me to accept that he did something like this.
Yeah, and there's a mystery around it. But you need to get help for this. Stay on the line. We'll give you a resource. We'll be right back. Amazing, huh? Amazing. Well, I've spoken to a 5-year-old on the air. I've spoken to a 5.5-year-old. I even spoke to a 4-year-old once, but 3 years old I think is some kind of record. But the child responds. And you know what that tells us more than anything else? It tells us that children hear, respond to, and feel everything. It's not a good idea to have a child see their parent in an open casket, by the way. It just is not a good idea.
She was like a sponge, very articulate.
We all are, even if we don't have the words. Being articulate is the blessing. Being inarticulate means that the feeling goes underground and causes us problems later on. Who's next?
Okay, we have Janice on line 12, and she fears her husband's release from prison next month.
Janice.
Hello.
Hi, Janice.
Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 45.
Can you speak up, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Your husband's in prison?
Yes, he is.
How long has he been in jail?
Since November,
Why?
because I had him put there.
Why?
Well, he was on parole, and my mother had had a stroke, and we were living with her, and he brought alcohol in my mother's house and got very violent and went out and started breaking windows out of the cars, and I could not allow that to go on in my mother's home. And I called the police, and he was violated and put in prison.
What was he on parole for?
He was on parole for drugs and alcohol.
What drugs?
Amphetamine and alcohol. That was his parole violation, and he broke that by being intoxicated at the time.
Did he work?
And no, he did not.
Did he ever do anything like that? Never had a job?
He, as far as I know, he worked for his brother-in-law for a water meter company, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay, so how long have you married?
8 months. But we were only married at that time for 10 days.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
I don't know. This is what I'm worried about. He is 29 years old.
Do you want, and you're 45,
Yes.
so you married someone who you don't know if he's working.
I knew he wasn't working.
Okay, so why did you marry him?
That is the problem. I don't know.
Okay, did you make a mistake?
Yes, I think I did, and sometimes I think I didn't. I thought I could help him.
Wrong reason to marry a guy.
But I loved him for the things that he could be, but I did not like him for
Wait a
the
second, the
he
things he could be, he's not the things he could be. He's the things he is. Do you like what he is?
No.
Then you shouldn't be married to him. You made a huge mistake, lady.
Can I explain to you?
Well, you just did.
There's a lot of reasons why I married him.
Yeah, but you don't like the way he is. You married him for a potential that was in your head, not him. He is exactly the way he is. He's not going to change. People don't change. Are you any different than you were 10 years ago?
No, I'm stronger in my belief.
Well, he's stronger in his belief, too.
Then you honestly think that I'm wasting my time.
Well, I mean, that would be my humble opinion.
Are you saying that because he's not working, or he wasn't working, and because he did violate his parole, and because of our age?
I'm saying that for all those reasons, plus your attitude towards him is like a school teacher towards a pupil. You sound very strict and very controlling, and well, he did this and he did that and he did this, and therefore you can't be around my mother because I won't have a thing like that. That's how you sound, and that's not how a loving relationship should be carried out. Janice,
Yes.
simple truth. You made a mistake, and everybody around here is going in agreement.
Well, let me explain to you why. My mother had a stroke.
Hey, Janice.
I could not have that going on around my mother's house,
Janice,
or my house,
Janice,
or your house,
Janice.
or anyone else's house.
Janice.
Yes.
What difference? He's wrong for you, and you made a mistake. End of story. Who's next?
Okay, we have Lynn on line 4, and she can't say no.
Lynn.
Hello.
Hello, Lynn.
Hi.
Hi, Lynn.
I can say no. I just I get myself into uncomfortable situations.
Such as?
Because there's an AIDS problem, I choose not to go out because when I meet guys, I flirt and then they come to take me out, and I feel like I then have to go to bed with them, and I don't know how to interact with a man without sort of being flirtatious and sexual.
What was your father like?
He's verbally abusive. And
What else?
he's mean. He's real mean, and he's dishonest. And it's getting, when he does it, when my mom was alive, it didn't bother me because she was a buffer, and I didn't even realize that he was so abusive.
How
And
often do you see him?
How often do I see him?
Yeah. If you tell me you live with him, I'm going to go bananas.
No, I don't live with him.
When did you stop?
Oh, Christ, years ago. After my mom died, I stayed at his house for about a month, but I was sort of just a catatonic vegetable, so I did it for me, not for him.
Okay.
I see him maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. Or
That's a lot. Don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
Why do you see him so often if you don't like him?
Because I keep thinking I do the same thing with him I do in relationships. So maybe if the next time I go, I'm nicer, or I do this or that, then he'll,
Don't you understand what you're doing with men?
no.
What you're doing with men is you're trying to have men respond to you the way you're trying to have your father respond to you. Not sexually, but to show an interest. You're trying to get your father to be kind and loving.
I mean, I'll cook for him.
Slow down.
Okay.
You're trying to get your father to be kind and loving, right?
Yeah,
You'll do anything, right?
yeah.
There's no limit to how kind Lynn will be. And what do you get? Frustration, a cold heart, and he turns you off completely, right?
Yeah, it hurts my
It
feelings.
hurts you terribly. So what you do is you become insecure inside that cold place,
Yeah,
and then you go outside and you look for men to make that place warm again.
yeah.
Right. That's what's all about your father.
So I don't know how to go and be around a guy without ending up in bed with him, so I don't
Stay
go.
away from your father. Your father makes you catatonic inside. Your words, right?
Yeah, I come home and I can
Well-
hide under my covers.
Right. Stay away from your father.
Then I feel guilty.
Your father's not good for you. You feel guilty because you're angry at him for the hurt he has caused.
Yeah.
Guilt is nothing more than anger that's turned against you. So the way you stop it is to stop allowing yourself to be hurt. Nobody can do this but you. If you don't do it, it will just increase. Your life will be out of control. You'll feel completely lost. And your father's influence on you will only cause you to seek more and more relationships with men for the worst reasons. It'll be terrible. It'll be dangerous. You won't be happier.
Like someone who will financially rescue me so I'm not under his thumb or...
Bingo.
Pardon?
Bingo.
Oh. But I see him be nice to...
Your father's nice to everyone but you.
I mean, to some schlep in the market
There's
or the people that
everybody.
work in his office.
Right, but not you.
Even some of the other siblings.
But not you.
Right.
Give him up.
I want to, like, punch on him.
I know.
I mean,
and that makes you feel guilty. Stay away from him. Being around him causes you the hurt of life. That hurt causes you to hold it in, and that hurt turns into anger, lowers your self-esteem, makes you feel guilty. It is the most difficult thing, and not once have you ever told him that he hurts you.
Oh, I do.
Yeah? When?
Oh, absolutely.
When?
I told him a week ago on Thursday.
What did you say to him?
I said, please stop yelling at me. It really hurts my feelings.
That's not even beginning.
I told him if he abuses me, and he said, only because I deserve it.
Stay away from him.
But, David...
Stay away from him.
What about concept of family? He's my only parent that I've left.
You don't have a family.
No. I mean, I don't...
If that's your family, you don't have a family. Come on. You don't have a father.
I told him my brother sexually abused me, and he said, don't bring it up. It happened long ago.
Right. He could care less.
Does that mean he doesn't love me?
Yes. So stop.
I don't think I love him either.
Good. Then it's a tie. Then don't waste any time.
So if I were to stay away from him, my interaction with men will be different?
It certainly won't be. It certainly won't be using the recent hurt to motivate you to move forward. You need to work on this, but the beginning of working on it is to stop seeing your father. He's bad for you. You can never come to peace with him. He is a treacherous person to deal with. How many times have I told you? When you express your hurt to the person who hurt you, you don't have anger over it. When you hold it in, you have tremendous anger. The anger turns against you as guilt, makes you depressed, lowers your self-esteem, and causes you to do self-punitive things. This one proves it. You stay tuned. David Viscott, I guess we got time for one more.
Okay, this last call is David. He's on line 1, and he has concerns about divorcing his wife.
David.
Hi, David. How you doing?
Good.
I'm going through a divorce. We were married for 6 years. We lived together for 2 years prior to that. And one thing that my wife and I both agree upon, we were both very afraid of catching AIDS. And our social life is kind of non-existent at this point. So consequently, we do get together for a sexual relationship. And my question is, because of the AIDS situation the way it is it worth the emotional roller coaster that we go through every time we're together to stay physically well?
How often do you get together?
Every weekend, every other weekend. We were just together last night, and this very question came up, and I said, well, if I get a chance, I'll call him.
What did it feel like last night being with her?
It was great.
It was great.
Yeah. I mean, the sexual aspect of our relationship was never a problem. It was always great.
I'm talking about the emotion.
It was a roller coaster.
What do you mean?
Well, I was happy to see her. I entertained the thoughts of trying to, get back together. I'm the one that filed for divorce. She didn't. But as much as I'd like to be with her, there's still a lot of things that I don't like about her.
What are they? Just a short list.
She's got a bad temper, real bad temper.
Okay.
She's full-blooded Irish, and she's got a real short fuse.
Have you ever engaged in couple therapy?
Yeah, we did. We went to marriage counseling one time, and the counselor really upset her, and she got mad and threw a baby bottle at me.
Baby bottle in the therapist's office?
The baby was with us, yeah.
How old's the baby?
She's 3 now.
So you haven't been there for quite a while.
No, we just filed for divorce in December. We've been apart about 3 months.
Okay. I would seriously entertain the possibility that there's still work that can be done in this relationship. Usually when people stick together like this, it's not merely because it's safe, although it is safe, but it's because there's still some feeling and some wish that things could be better, right?
I would think so.
You would think so? Is that yes?
That's a yes.
Okay. And she would say yes too, right?
I would think so.
That's a yes again.
That's a yes.
So you talk around things. And both of you have difficulty dealing with each other. You with her temper, she with some of your...
I'm a workaholic.
I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done here. And if you're that afraid of the outside world, you might as well use that fear to channel your energy and your focus into looking at the situations in your relationship with a little more openness. What's wrong with that? I mean, maybe she's more afraid of AIDS than she is of what a therapist might say, and if she can keep the baby bottle in the bag, maybe there's some work that can be done. But that's what I would recommend.
So you think the relationship could be salvaged then?
Well, I think it deserves a shot, pal. I mean, to have one session with a couple therapist and then go, whoopee-doo, this is it, it didn't work, throwing bottles, it's over, doesn't sound to me like you gave it the best shot.
Okay.
Your heart is telling you something that your mind has to pay attention to. You're still attracted to the woman. She's still attracted to you. You got a kid. The world's dangerous. It's worth a more open, complete try. Give it a shot. What can you lose? That's another evening, huh?
We've gotten ages, from 3 to 40 tonight on
Three,
the phone?
3 to 45, but, that's not the whole thing. The thing is that we've covered feelings that range from the most intense sense of a child's being abandoned to people who are sexually active, searching for love, a young man who's searching for his sexual identity. We're all searching. And I think if you put it together, you understand what I was talking about, tornadoes. Emotional upsets occur in a person's life, and the world around you hardly notices. Being open, sharing the feelings, is the beginning of feeling better. Stay tuned. We'll be with you next week.
You may wish to contact the Viscott Center at 1-800-426-4432. The center is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Private consultation is available for a fee.